What's going on, Stone?
What's going on, Jake?
We got our 2 beers.
We got our mic. Welcome to 2 Beers and a Mic. Well, let's crack these babies open.
Alright, let's do it.
We got Stella Artois. Or Artois.
Artois. I've never
Correct us if
seen
we're
these. I've seen these in the gas stations. I've seen them in liquor stores. I've never tried them as a beer. So, to our listeners, we are trying something new for you guys today.
Yeah.
Alright. Are we ready?
See how it goes.
All right,
Not a big beer
cheers.
drinker, but we're going to try it.
I don't know about y'all, but this ship.
It's giving me
Awful vibes.
It's giving me Corona Light vibes with. Okay. Well, this is a beer I will not finish
or buy
the
again.
show.
We might. Maybe it was the first sip.
Yeah, try it again. It's gonna be used as strictly a
It
prop.
tastes like a bag of Newports. That's awful.
All right,
Well,
all for trying new things.
first episode off to a great start. It's all good. But we at least got some tacos to wash it down, right?
That's right. So, if you ever follow on TikTok this man named Keith Lee, he goes around Las Vegas. His TikTok has like well over, I think he's in the 2 millions, maybe more now. But he goes around to local food spots and
In Vegas.
yeah, in Las Vegas, Nevada. He tries their food, he rates them, and he kind of just promotes a lot of local businesses. So we thought, not trying to steal his thunder or anything, we live in the Dallas area. We wanted to promote some local Dallas restaurants as a segment on 2 Beers and a Mic. So right here, we have some tacos from, let me find the location for you. It is a Spanish name. Right down the road from the house. It is called Tacos La Banqueta Puro here in Dallas, Texas. I would say the staff who waited on me, very, very nice. They speak both Spanish and English. I asked them, what did they recommend for tacos? And so right here we have Pastor. We
don't know which ones are which.
We don't know which ones
open
are
the
which.
box, we'll be real. But we're going to take a wild guess because we do have. Actually, what did she say? She said the Pastor.
Yep.
Then she said the
Suadero.
And then the Pollo.
Pollo.
And then the
Cabeza.
Cabeza. That's what the last one was. Okay.
So
Bet.
what we're going to do here is we're going to spin a wheel, and we're going to see which one we're going to try first. So let's head over to the wheel here.
I want to put my money on the chicken. On the Pollo. Sorry.
So let's see here. Ready? We're spinning it. And we have
Nice.
chicken for the very first one.
Chicken for the win.
All right.
You want a lime?
I will take a lime. Yes, please.
Always got to add a lime to your street tacos.
So let me grab one of those. Let me get the chicken going. So here we go.
If you've never had street tacos from a mom and pop restaurant in Dallas, Texas, you haven't had real street tacos, I don't believe.
And I'm not going to do this the proper way, strictly at a time, but they give you 2 tortillas. And here's what you're supposed to do. Apparently, this is a old wives' trick, I guess. You put the other tortilla underneath the taco
Right.
to catch
The droppings.
the dropping, so you have a second taco. So they kind of
So what you one bite and judge?
Yeah, one bite and
One
judge.
bite and judge.
that's pretty good.
Good. Slightly dry. But
But I will say, we did order these about an hour and a half ago
sure did.
and had to reheat them. So that's on us.
Flavor, immaculate.
What would
Solid.
you give it? 1 out of 10.
Solid. I'd say 7.2.
7.2.
7.2.
I agree.
It's good. It's got good flavor.
I agree.
Chicken's got good flavor. The cilantro's good. It's fresh. I'm with it.
All right. All right, 7.2 for your chicken. So now we're going to go on to our second of the 4. We removed that one. Here we go. We got the wheel spinning. And we have
The Sandero.
Suadero. Okay. Well, I didn't show them the recording. That's fine.
I think this one's a Suadero.
I think you're right. Okay.
You want a line for this one too? There you go.
Yeah, I'll take one actually for sure. All right, we got some Suadero.
Ken, always add the lime. Lime is key.
Are we ready?
I think so. Now that I got that damn beer out of my mouth.
Stella Artois, not a fan.
Could do better.
Could definitely do better. All right, you ready?
One bite.
Yep.
That one's
That one's definitely better.
number one so far.
Definitely better. Shoot. We
Much
give that
more-
another one.
Moisture
Yeah.
to the taco, I guess you would say.
Better flavor.
Better flavor
If we're giving the other one a 7.2, that's got to be an 8.5.
for sure.
If it gets better than that,
It's really good. That's really good.
yeah, you can't lose. You can't lose with that one. So
Uh-huh.
that one's Suadero.
I'm with it. What is Suadero?
I don't know. That's a good question. They have at the restaurant. They have the Spanish menu, and then to the right, they actually have the English menu. So obviously, Pollo's chicken and Pastor is pork.
Get the fuck out of the room! I'm playing Minecraft!
Now, Suadero was.
That was a really good taco.
Oh, we gotta remove it now. Okay. We're down to 2, Pastor and Cabeza. Cabeza obviously means head. Pastor is pork. Thank goodness we got the pork, because head is gonna be.
I didn't know that. I thought you were talking about a different kind. I didn't know that this would actually be the head of a cow.
So we're talking this one, correct?
I think this one's the pastor.
Yes. Okay, so we're doing Pastor. Okay. Yep.
I'm
Okay.
gonna even add a lime to this.
Yeah, me too. I'll just use the remaining of what I had on another one.
So, I guess we should have got napkins too, but oh well. One bite.
Nothing beats a messy podcast.
All right, one bite.
Oh shit.
It got better.
Not.
That one I'm gonna finish.
Mm-hmm.
Holy.
That one's good. The pork is like kind of crispy on the outside, but then it's like real tender once you bite into it.
Tons of flavor.
Dude,
Tons of flavor. That to me, if we're giving an 8.5 on
that's like a
the
9.5.
Suadero. That's a. I gotta get. I mean, yeah, that's about as close to perfection as you can get without it being literally like orgasmic in my mouth. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm telling you.
Okay. Progressively gotten better.
I am slightly concerned about the head that we're about to eat.
As long as we just don't think about
Right.
where it came from, right?
Right. And who knows? We may have gotten it wrong and already eaten the head.
That's right. This could be Suadero.
Yeah. See how it goes.
Alright.
There we go.
Last one.
There's another lime if you need it.
I'm good. I'm just gonna raw dog this one.
That's how we do things around here. We raw dog everything.
That's right.
Yeah, one bite.
Mmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, have me skip the quote first.
I like that one.
But that one's pretty good. I think it's probably the second. I think chicken's at the bottom just because it was a little dry.
Yeah. Understandably, we bought it an hour ago. You know, maybe if it were fresh, it'd be a little bit better. Everything else, though, smacked.
Absolutely. I'm giving that. What did we give that one? 6.2?
What, chicken?
7.2?
7.2.
7.2? This is a 7.5.
Yeah. Definitely liked the pastor tacos the best.
But if you are ever visiting Dallas, if you live in Dallas, I live in McKinney, Texas. You are
In Wills Point.
Wills Point.
Yeah.
So we're roughly, 30, 45, 50 minutes from pretty much downtown Dallas, but we're in Dallas all the time. They have some of the best just local mom and pop shops, family owned restaurants. Dallas is one of the best food scenes in the United States. When you're talking pizza, you're talking barbecue, you're talking Mexican tacos, you're talking
Chinese food even.
every
Sushi.
I mean, you can't go wrong. Dallas brings the goods when
sure.
it comes to food, and one of the better nightlife spots definitely in the United States as well.
And that's just why we, came on here and did this, right? Just to kind of promote what Dallas does have to offer.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so sweet. We concluded that. So get to kind of move on and talk about us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like what kind of brought us to this point, and I guess it wouldn't be a bad idea to give a autobiography of ourselves.
Okay.
Well,
why don't you start on that? You give them a little rundown of yourself and who we are and why we even decided to do this in the first place.
Right. So, I mean, a lot of it, man, was, I guess, our ease in being able to talk to people. I think the both of us are social butterflies. We have no problem in a social setting by any means. I think that kind of brought our idea of doing this together. But even before that, we were both athletes. We played sports, kind of overtook our lives growing up, and it was our thing all up until we got to college, which is where we really initially got somewhat introduced to each other, or introduced to mutual friends and everything like that. And so from there, man, apparently I found out that you met my sister on Tinder, and it just kind of went uphill from there. I wasn't so sure about it at first whenever she said it, but here we are, 3 years later, and they just got engaged not long ago, and so he's gonna be my brother soon. But yeah, man, just from the time that Tate had told me about you to now, I mean, I think our relationship has just grown exponentially. And I think that kind of led us to similar interests in doing this and just taking an interest in podcasts as a whole. Like we, mentioned before, even Keith Lee, something as simple as Keith Lee doing food reviews on TikTok. We just both find that we have the same interest, and it works. I think that we can talk for hours. I don't think we would have a moment of silence between the two of us. But I mean, man, it's just I think we're wanting to. I don't know what's kind of our goal with the viewers. I mean, this is okay to talk about on here. Like, what do we want them to get from our podcast?
Man, I think in today's world, where definitely podcasts are becoming much of a more common theme with people, and they're kind of taking over, whether it be social media, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, all that type of stuff. Podcasts are probably the number one hit as of right now. So we decided, to join that trend, and what we hope to do is kind of relate to you guys as viewers. Obviously, be able to do what we just did, where our goal, just like he said with Keith Lee, would be, as a segment on this thing, to promote local Dallas restaurants.
Right.
Even if it's simply 5-7 minutes of us just trying food, rating it, explaining how good their customer service was, and just allowing like them to blow up. I know he's had the chance to bless many restaurants and places in Las Vegas. And we want to do the same here. We want to be able to do that for our local Dallas areas, and maybe not just even food reviews. Many other things. We're still trying to come up with specific segments that we want to be able to introduce to you guys and relate to you guys as viewers. And we would love to be able to make this a regular thing where we're able to help others with it, and we're able to relate to you guys, answer some of your guys' questions. Our goals as of right now, I mean, spit them off as you know them, but we're about to get started on TikTok. We'll be posting videos on there. Wanting you guys to it's kind of like a democracy podcast where we want the viewers to explain to us what you want to hear and what you guys want us to talk about, and we can create a platform that kind of introduces stuff like that, and also introducing both of our works in the business world and what we've done to be at this point where we have the time to take a break and podcast and talk to you guys about that type of stuff. And there's a lot of goals that we have. There's a lot of things that we want to do with this podcast. It'll start off with posting TikToks and posting to YouTube, and then from there it's up to you whether or not we are able to do more with it or continue just doing what we're doing now.
Right. I think we just have to really find our niche. We've been in the works for it for a few months now.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so we've just been. It's not that we just don't have an idea. I think it's more of just the fact that we are going to be dealing with these viewers, and we're going to want to know how we can relate to them, right? And so we're going to want to be able to relate to them in the best way possible. So I feel that we have very middle ground viewpoints on just about everything.
Absolutely.
And so if there are certain things that we can do to either help out somebody on the other side of the camera or something like that, or like you said, kind of going into mom and pop shops, or whether it's clothing brands, or whether it's subpar beer, we just trying to dip our toe in and really just talk about us, talk about what's going on in life, what kind of, as you said, our business mentality and where we strive to be in the next few years potentially. Could be everything from how do we freaking treat our wives or soon to be wives right like giving out not necessarily advice, but just saying what we would do. It's not for everybody, but would definitely love to put our 2 cents into all those ideas, all those opinions and everything like that,
For sure.
So I think it's a very generalized podcast for sure at this point.
Yeah.
So
I think the main goal and our main description really would just be relating to you. And, that's why we called it 2 Beers.
Right.
We want to be able to just chill. We want to be able to just be able to not be so critical and allow our viewpoints to be broadened, or even explain our points of view on certain things. And no one's point of view is necessarily wrong. It's just, people have their opinions. We talk about what we want to talk about. We like what we like.
Right.
But this is definitely not a lot of rules. We're just 2 guys drinking some beers, doing a podcast.
Right.
It's as simple as it could be.
Right.
And
talking about life.
And that's it.
Lifestyle podcast.
And that's it.
There we go. Easy as pie. I don't know how in the hell you are drinking that though.
I have to wash down the
I was about to say
cabeza. It's still sticking.
I bet. That's a tough beer, man. I'm more of a partaker in the herb than the burr, but I haven't had a beer that tastes like that, to be real honest with you. It's okay though. It'll get better. I mean, we'll have a new one next show, and so hopefully, it can really only go up from there.
Absolutely, you can't really get any worse than that.
No.
Stella, if you want to sponsor us, we're gonna tell you respectfully no.
Pass.
We
Hard
do not
pass.
like the product. So we like to review things on here. We reviewed food. Food
Honestly.
was absolutely fantastic. The worst thing that I've partaken in this entire show was your beer. So we don't want you. Next time.
And they probably don't want us. It's okay.
And that's okay.
It's a mutual friendship.
You know what? It's
Or-
not for everyone. Like we said, our viewpoints might not be y'all's viewpoints.
Right.
And we can agree that we dislike it.
Right.
So
One of you uppity mofos might like the Stella Artois,
maybe
but that's okay.
if you want to be fancy and buy a beer that you can't even pronounce, preferably I like a nice Coors,
Right. Kirsch,
Michelob.
Bud, 3 letters.
Yeah, it's real easy. Bud Light and Bud.
Right. And then you have Budweiser. We were talking about that because we weren't sure whether Stella Artois or Budweiser was the
Oh,
champagne
that's right.
of beers.
And now that you say that, I want to say it's
High Life?
Miller High Life.
I do like me a good Miller High Life. We may
But-
just have to have one that we know we're going to like on the next show.
Absolutely.
That way we don't get highly disappointed.
Yeah.
It's
I
okay
agree.
though.
It's fine. It's fine.
Food choice was great. You chose that.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Or
actually,
Tate.
I can give that credit to my fiance.
Right.
She chose that, and that was a great choice. A great start. It can only, if it goes up from there, we're going to be enjoying some good food
No
in the
joke.
future.
No joke. Speaking of, you said your fiance. So how long ago did y'all get engaged?
We got engaged on the 22nd of December.
Congratulations! Congratulations! Congratulations!
Right.
And you got engaged what day?
Last July 10th.
Yeah.
June 10th. Sorry.
June 10th.
Yeah, June 10th. So June 6th was our anniversary. 4 days later, asked her to be the love of my life. She said yes. Surprising. So
No, we knew she was going to say yes. I have never experienced anyone other than her in your life, really, because anyone that you ever would have brought around didn't really pan out, and it was just people who, in that, you kind of got to a point where I think you were also just kind of worried about, like, just trusting and
Oh, for sure.
putting your faith in a person like that, especially in a relationship like that. But then, with Kennedy, we knew, like, from the get-go, the way that you
Right.
lit up and glue up when you were around her, and the way that you acted and the way that you respected her, that she was going to be
yeah.
the one for you. That was not a doubt in my mind.
No, for sure. She's been great, man. And yeah, like I said, it takes time, obviously, to heal from whatever that you had gone through, and so it took me some time to do that. But Kennedy definitely gave me a solid reason to do what I do day in and day out.
Absolutely.
So, and I feel obviously Tate gives you the same sort of motivation, and not that she's just motivation, but she is your motivator.
Absolutely.
And I think that's important to have, in your soon-to-be spouse or somebody that you're looking to make your spouse. You want them to be able to push you. You don't want to get comfortable.
Absolutely.
I feel that's key for sure.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason maybe why we even started this thing to begin with, was we have two women who, love us and what we want to do,
Right.
and supported us through starting this.
Right.
When we started this, what we have? Hardly any equipment.
No.
We had to have some of the. We had just happened to have some of the things. It can only really go up from here,
Right.
as far as what we have. But what we were able to get and scrounge together and use for this, I think we're blessed to have them to be able to, like you said, love us and support us through what we're doing here. We're lucky to where we have work where
Right.
we're have time to do this and be able to tell stories. There's some jobs that you just boring.
Yeah. Their
There's
job.
nothing to talk about.
Yeah, their
And
job.
I know you go to work every day thinking, is this even work, or is this just me doing what I'm going to do? And that's how I
Right.
feel. When I go to work, I don't feel like I'm even like at work. It doesn't
Right.
feel like a job. It doesn't feel like a chore. It just feels like, man, like this is just something that I do.
Right.
And
Right.
It's great.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. If you can find yourself in doing something that you love, you've heard this all your life. If you can find yourself doing something that you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And now that's somewhat of a lie, because there are some days that we definitely feel that we work. Whether it's dealing with crappy clients or something goes wrong during the day, whatever it may be. A job's going to be a job, but to have that type of person that is willing to push you to be the best.
Yeah.
Man, that's crucial.
Absolutely.
So I think moving forward, we'll obviously introduce them as things go on if they want to be introduced.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are, I would say, the two biggest people, or two most influential women in our lives at this point.
Yeah.
So at this point we're kind of moving away from our families, or well, you did that a long time ago. Your family's over in Arizona.
Yeah, we lived in actually Paris, Texas for 10 years.
Yeehaw, brother.
And they got an opportunity where that they couldn't resist, and they had to move back to Arizona. That's where I lived 10 years before I moved to Texas as a 10-year-old. So I was born in Seattle, moved there when I was like 6 weeks old, moved to Arizona. Lived there for about 10 years, then moved to Texas as like a 10, 11-year-old, and then moved out of Texas as a 21-year-old. So, not moved out of Texas, moved from Paris to Dallas as a 21-year-old. But yeah, they took off, and yeah, I would definitely say like our family dynamics as a whole differ, but I think that gives us both as men who are close with each other and stuff like that. I mean,
Right.
You're going to be a groomsman in my wedding, and I'm going to be a groomsman in your wedding. I mean, we got to a point where we were at that point, and I think like just the fact that we can talk about that type of stuff, because I've experienced different things as far as my family being gone and how we can communicate, and I get to see them a few times a year, but
Right.
but like with your family being a little bit closer, but even you branched off for a good, how long, like year and a half, 2 years, how long?
Yeah, right at 2 years, man. And before that, I mean, I was living up in Wichita Falls for a little while, for 6 months, something like that. So not crazy long, but it's definitely, if you get the chance to like go, and it sounds cliche, but go chase your dreams, or go spend a year, 2 years doing what you love to do.
Yeah.
But do it at the lowest level, man, and know what it takes to get to the top. You know what I'm saying? So the cool thing was, I got to see Barton at his very lowest, and I got to see him at his absolute highest.
Yeah.
And so you're never gonna be able to run a business efficiently if you don't know all the highs and lows. And obviously you're gonna have things that pop up and that you haven't seen before or something like that. But if you're walking through your business, and well, I kind of forgot what I was gonna say, but if you're walking through your business, you're walking through it.
If you're walking through your business and starting at the bottom.
If you're starting at the bottom and you know that there are incremental steps that it takes to get to that high point in your life, you're not going to be. Who said it best? There was a guy that I heard on TikTok. He said, don't be mad just because you haven't reached point Z in your life yet.
Yeah.
You've crossed A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Absolutely.
Don't be upset just because you have H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, and so on left to go.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel that's in correlation to your highs and lows, man. You're taking steps throughout the whole process, and you're learning the business inside out. And I'm sure being on your own, you had to do that. I mean, even right before the podcast, your dad gave us a call, and you guys had to talk business for a little bit. And I'm sure that battling him being somewhat of a boss and your dad at the same time, I'm sure that's difficult. And so, kudos to you. My dad and I couldn't do that. He would beat my ass.
We definitely have a two, and not to call anyone like an alpha or like me an alpha or anything like that, because that sounds just kind of conceited. But like when you have two like I want to be in charge mentalities, and you butt heads all the time.
Yeah.
And that's the truth with us. And we worked together where I was living back at home after I left school, moved back home for about 6 to 8 months, and him and I traveled. We travel for work, and if you're going to, if you're doing that and living with the person that you travel with, you're together 24/7. I mean, you go to work, you go to hotel rooms, you go back home, you don't get a break. You're back home living with them, so
Yeah.
you're with them constantly.
Exactly.
And that's just, I mean, that's not good for anyone's relationships. I'd definitely say that our relationship at that point kind of took a hit. But you know, then I was blessed enough to, you know, when they moved to Arizona, I got promoted to run my own cruise
Right.
for the travel. My dad kind of stepped down and didn't want to travel anymore. He kind of just wanted to be an overseer. And so that allowed us and our relationship to grow a little bit stronger, even though I'm in constant communication with him, you know, probably, you know, 3, 4, maybe even 5 times a week, more when, you know, we're out doing job installs and stuff like that. But you know, our relationship's definitely grown since that opportunity was presented to us, and
Right, for sure.
and we were able to not be together constantly, but you know, cherish the time that we actually do get to talk to each other, because it is so limited now.
Right.
And so I think that the space between him being in Arizona and me being in Texas strengthened our relationship in
Yeah.
a way, and I think that's, you know, a blessing.
No, for sure.
from God. And
For sure.
um,
I can understand that, because
Yeah.
I'm sure that, I mean, once you were alone, you felt this sort of sense of independence, right? And so you had to learn how to do everything on your own through, obviously you could ask him questions, but I feel you're the type of person to want to do it on your own.
Yeah.
You know, and so you're a very Mr. Fix It, Mr. Figure It Out, and so to figure all those things out on your own, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
absolutely.
saying? So I think it's definitely, you know, if you separate yourself from being in what you might call a comfortable situation, right? You might find yourself growing.
absolutely.
So you know, the only way, as David Goggins says, don't be comfortable, motherfucker.
What's this? Watch your profanity.
That dude's crazy, man.
Is he the Marine, right? He's
Yeah.
the Marine. He wrote that book
Navy
on
SEAL.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
that dude.
Oh, Navy SEAL.
That dude is insane,
Yeah.
man. I'm almost positive. I'll have to double check this, but I think he just had surgery to where it's damn near impossible for him to like run again.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. And so I couldn't imagine doing that. How would you feel? Like if you woke up one day knowing that you could never, I would say play football, but I think the both of us would be okay with that. I think our CTE would thank us later.
Yeah, absolutely.
But no, if say you had to wake up one day without video games,
Sheesh. I mean, you definitely have to find another
or
route.
even better, your
Okay.
phone.
Oh yeah, I guess that's probably a better analogy. Or analogy? Sure.
Maybe.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's what we'll call it. Every day without your phone. I mean, to this point in like today's society, like everyone. I mean, there are some people out there like grandparents and, you know, obviously some select groups of people like Amish and stuff like that they live without it, obviously. But in today's world, to not have a phone,
Right.
it is a lifeline
Right.
for some. I mean,
I feel running for that, bro, is a lifeline.
for him,
For sure.
Absolutely.
For sure. And so we'll see. I don't know. I'm excited to see what he, you know, has to say following the surgery and all that. I think the bro is beast. I think he's got it going for him for sure.
absolutely.
But
Well, I say we end this sucker with
I'm
a
with
nice
it.
draft.
I'm
We'll end it with a draft, and since we started talking about David Goggins, obviously we'll take him off the board. But let's say top 3 toughest dudes that you can name off the top of your head. Just like toughest women, toughest dudes, add them all in. I mean, toughest people that you could think of on this planet that have been through either some shit or,
okay.
you know,
I would
they've
say
come out of the woodwork.
you want to do 1 and 1?
Yeah.
All right. So I would say probably one of the most baddest dudes. All right. Now this is gonna hit some old people in a soft spot, but there was an old fighter, an old UFC fighter named Mirko Krokop.
Okay.
Bro was the baddest dude around. He was ex-military, and like bro is killed people like straight up for a living,
Sure.
it seems. And so there was a time, it was a pretty iconic fight between him and Wanderlei Silva, where they were just staring each other down.
Yeah.
And Silva was known very well for just being able to stare people down and like just get into them, get in their head, right? Well, Mirko Kropotkin, well, this bro's killed some people, so he ain't scared of some little 5'10", little bald dude. So he's just staring them down, and you hear Joe Rogan in the background talking. Mirko just won that as they walk back to the corner. But that's a scary dude, man. I didn't find out about him until maybe a few months ago, but that's a scary dude.
I've never heard of him. So you're teaching me something today.
He's crazy. But now I don't know if that makes him necessarily the baddest dude around, but it's
definitely tough.
Definitely a tough.
Yeah, that's
definitely tough. What you got?
Number 1 off the top of the list. And we talked about this the other day, but I'm going to throw in Francis Ngannou, who is also a UFC guy. And I'm not trying to just like fill the list with UFC guys, but this man grew up in slavery. His job as a child was digging in the salt mines, and so that man just built muscle after muscle after muscle, and just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And the dude's a genetic freak anyway, but to do that and then also have like the mentality and the will and the power to try to escape, and he was caught several times.
Oh yeah.
But like to try to escape his country so that he would no longer be a slave, and then somehow made it to the U.S., started fighting, and that man is a
horse.
Grade A badass.
I'm running. If I ever see him in the street, running. I don't care if he's coming to say hi.
Yeah.
I don't care what he's doing.
I don't want it.
Taking off. I'm with it. Francis at number 1 for you.
Francis at number 1.
All right, so that brings me to number 2. Who would be number 2? I will have to say, because this man has changed the jiu-jitsu game now.
Okay.
And his name is Gordon Ryan.
Okay.
And this bro is a 3-division world jiu-jitsu champion at just the highest possible level. I mean, there's no competition for the bro. And the reason I'm going to shout him out is because yesterday, he just signed the first ever known fight deal with Flow something.
Okay.
But it is the first 7-figure deal for a jiu-jitsu artist, which I think is just freaking awesome.
Absolutely.
So,
7 figures.
7 figures
Holy
for jiu-jitsu.
mother.
And it's a multi-fight deal. But yeah, that dude has just crushed everybody he's gone through. So the closest role that he had was probably his last one with Nicky something.
Okay.
Where it went to the judge's decision, or sorry, not judge's decision, fastest escape time, and he ended up having the fastest escape. Gordon did.
Okay.
But yeah, this bro is like supersized.
Just massive.
Yeah, just massive. He looks like one of those little action figure toys that you pull out of your cereal box.
And just to know, like, one of the most like artful and skilled like martial arts techniques,
right?
Or what would you call it? Not techniques.
Yeah, is
it technique?
Technique, skills.
I
mean, that man just has it all. Strength.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a combination of everything. There's just nobody like him. There's a lot of people, he's the next best thing since Gracie. It is what it is. But yeah, shout out to Gordon Ryan at number 2.
Absolutely. My number 2, and I even had to look some up because I couldn't think off the top of my head. We went into this just like you said, raw dogging it.
Raw dogs.
I would have to say Chris Kyle. I didn't think of him.
Ah, yeah.
The American Sniper.
That's at both of our number 1s.
I think so. I think he'd have to take over Ngannou's spot.
Yeah.
But I mean, that man to have the highest sniper kill count, and I don't know if he's been beaten since all that stuff came out about him and stuff. The movie and all the really, that's when people started actually like realizing what he was able to do and what he did for the United States and stuff like that. But I mean, for that man to go and spend however long he spent in Afghanistan, Iraq, all those type of places, and then just be the number 1 sniper kill count ever. And it was tragic what happened to him from his own, like, I think friend. At the time,
it was a veteran he was working with. Yeah. that ended up shooting them while they were. I think they were at the firing range.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad, man. He'd be cool to have on the show.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be a dream come
No,
true. Absolutely.
Can you imagine the stories that man must have? He's been on a couple shows that you can find, but man, he's got to have some just outrageous stories.
Oh, dude, no doubt.
But that brings us to, I would say, number 3. Oh, this is gonna be tough. Number 3. Who was? I've heard him on Joe Rogan's podcast before.
Okay.
He was the star in The Lone Survivor. Mark Wahlberg played him.
Oh. Okay, you can look it up if you need to.
Let's look it up real quick.
I don't remember.
Let's look it up real quick. Lone Survivor. Alright. Marcus Luttrell. That's his name. That dude, yeah, I'm right there with you. That he's got to be at number 3 for sure. And listening to him, they did a perfect depiction, just as close as you can get in that movie as to what the real life scenario was, which is just insane to me. Yeah, he said that there on Rogan's podcast that there were many times where Mark Wahlberg would just cry because he just couldn't handle it, and that's crazy to think. So yeah, Marcus Luttrell definitely coming in at number 3.
We saw before one of our games in high school. We used that as a motivation. He did an interview, not an interview. He did like he spoke for a football team, or I think it was Bama, and he came in and he started telling them like about. It might have been like right before the season started, or maybe like right before one of their national championships or something, just about like his life and what his brothers meant to him, and just telling stories. And man, those players, I mean, made them see, like we're just playing a game out here, and this dude like was out there just laying his life down for his country and his fellow officers and all that type of stuff.
Dude, insane stuff, man. Kudos to the bros that do that.
I know.
But anyways, you're number 3.
Number 3. Had to do some more research on it, but I was just looking through here. I gotta say, because it popped up and I didn't really realize that it was a true story. Hugh Glass.
Okay.
The man that is what The Revenant is about.
Right.
So it says right here, he in 1823 he was scouting for the Rocky Mountain Fur Company and was attacked by a grizzly bear. His throat was torn, his scalp was hanging by his head, and his back was shredded, and he knew he was gonna die. It turned out Glass wasn't going to die after all. He regained consciousness to find that he had been left for dead with no food, weapons, or equipment. After he reset his broken leg on his own, climbed out of his grave, which these people that he was with thought he had died, so they buried him alive, got out of his grave, cleaned his infected wounds, and headed for the nearest area of civilization, and he made it.
If I break my leg, I'm sitting down and I'm crying for my mama.
Dude.
There ain't no way. Yeah, that has to come in as a solid number 3.
Oh man, that's insane.
That's a new level of tough. I mean, to break your leg and to walk. I mean, you've twisted your ankle, rolled your ankle before, and I've tried to walk.
I've broken an arm in a game of football and played like 4 more plays, but just the adrenaline that is flowing through you, it hurts, but it doesn't feel like quite what a broken arm feels like. But a leg, and to be 1823. And then along with everything else, I mean, his throat was like demolished.
Yeah.
His head is almost ripped open.
Yeah.
And for him to be able to reset his own leg and then crawl to a nearby camp.
Yeah.
I mean,
when he gets to that hospital, I mean, they're telling that bro to put a stick in his mouth and hoping that he passes out.
Absolutely.
I'm glad we don't live in those times.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. 100%.
So I think that's solid, man. You know, absolutely. I think we just ended out on a nice little distasteful cheer.
And we also like to say, I mean, what do we got here? We got our 2 beers.
We got our 2 beers. We got our mic.
All right. And this is 2 beers, 1 mic.